Hello! People keep on telling us to be consistent this, consistent that, but they never actually tell us on how to actually be consistent at doing something. I mean, what is the practical step-by-step guide on how you can actually be consistent at doing positive things, right? Exercising, studying, practicing art, reading some books, anything. So that's why this is January 17th, 2025, and this is gonna be day 193 of consistently helping people build consistency. Hi, my name is Laksana, and I'm just an average person who's also struggling and been documenting my own consistency journey online for hundreds of days. One of my biggest achievements in being consistent is that I currently have a 71 days straight morning push-up streak, where I basically just do some morning push-ups before 5 to 6 a.m. every single day, record it and upload it on my Instagram. So it's fully documented. Okay. You can just check it out on my Instagram at, like the same username as my YouTube username. And actually, I want to say thank you. Thank you for actually caring about your life, because if you actually want to change your life to the better through implementing some positive things consistently, I actually really do appreciate that. Okay. So on this video, I'm going to be explaining the importance of emphasizing and reminding ourselves about about the reasons why we do the thing that we wanted to be consistent at. Okay. And so I'm gonna be like giving some explanation about like the problems that we have, and also why it's important to emphasize things and also remind us about our reasons on a daily basis. And after that, I'm gonna be giving the practical implementation on how to actually solve that problem. So here's the thing. We need to emphasize the reason. We need to make us remember why we do this thing in the first place, and also like make it really clear why we do these things in the first place, okay? And also, not only that we need to remind us, we also need to remind us consistently. Okay, so here's the thing. Not only that we need to do this thing consistently, let's say we want to be consistent at doing some exercise, not only that we need to exercise consistently doing the thing itself, we also need to remind ourselves on a daily basis consistently on what is the reason why we still stick to doing that particular thing. Okay, well, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I think it's really, really gonna be effective when you just do this. Okay, I mean, like, just think of it. How many people, they start to decide, oh yeah, I want to be consistent at exercising, consistent at studying on a new year, new year, resolution. They create those things, right? But then completely forgot about those things on February. Okay, so I believe one of the biggest reasons why this happened, one of the biggest cause of why this thing happened, is that because we forgot why we do these things in the first place. Or maybe we still remember about, like the reasons why we do these things, but like there are new priorities, there are new things that come into our life, and then we kind of like don't have, like could not just juggle this priority, this one priority with the other priority. So, that's one of the biggest reasons why we fail to be consistent at doing something. So, when we want to be consistent at doing something, basically it means that we are gonna be spending our time and energy into that particular thing consistently, okay? Either it's on a daily basis or maybe on a weekly basis, but that's basically the core essence of being consistent, right? So imagine if our life, like our time and energy is just like this one circle, this pie diagram, right? Basically representing our life, representing our time and energy. When we decide to be consistent at doing something new, let's say exercising, it means that, like a part of this circle, a part of this pie is gonna be taken and then gonna be committed to do that particular thing, to do that particular exercising thing. Okay, so like maybe this pie consists of sleeping, spending time with friends and family, school, and so on and so on. But now, like maybe our leisure time, we're gonna be, like just taking it and then like spend it on exercising. So here's the thing. In our life, okay, on this circle, we got so many priorities. We got so many things to spend our time and energy to, okay? You know, and not only that, we got so much priorities, so many priorities. We these priorities they keep on coming, okay? There are gonna be like new priorities. I mean, like, yeah, for example, if we are still a student, we are gonna be having new assignments, new homeworks, new group projects, and so on and so on, which means that we need to be spending our time and energy doing that particular thing, right? And also, not only that, you know, um, there's this thing called the shiny object syndrome. It's not necessarily, currently, it's not a medical syndrome though, but basically, it's something that we struggle in real life. Basically, when we just found something new in our life and we just kind of like think of it as something that's really, really cool, and we wanted to, spend our time on that particular thing. Let's say that, oh yeah, we found this new language that we think it's really, really cool, and now we just wanted to study it. And yeah, like I want to be, like studying this new language and stuff and stuff. Well, actually, like learning something new or like doing something new is not a problem. But the problem here is that when we forgot, like when this new thing makes us forget about our previous priority and our previous commitment. Let's say, today I say, you know what, I want to be consistent at exercising. I'm going to be exercising consistently, blah, 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 blah. But then 1 month later, I found this one new language, and because we really hype this new language learning thing, we basically don't do the exercise anymore because we think like, oh yeah, exercising is, like, this learning language thing is way more important, blah, 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 blah. We don't want that to happen, right? So, okay, now we go back to the notion of consistently reminding us about why doing this particular thing is important, consistently reminding us why doing the exercising is important. So, what are the reasons why we still stick to the exercising? Okay, so constantly reminding us about our reason so we don't get distracted or even like this exercising thing doesn't exist anymore in our life. We don't want that to happen, right? So, how do we actually do this reminding things? Well, I will say definitely one of the best ways that we can do is to just create a whiteboard and then read it 3 times on a day on some specific time. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to be explaining this later. Okay. So, what is a whiteboard, right? Basically, it is something as simple as just maybe like a piece of paper or maybe like some notes in our phone or on our phone, right? Basically, writing all the reasons why we do these things. Okay, all the reasons. Oh yeah, I exercise because I wanted to be healthy, I wanted to look good, and so on and so on. Blah 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 blah. Blah. It could also be something like more emotional, because like something like, oh yeah, I want to exercise because I want to be healthy for my family. I want to be there, and so on and so on. Okay. And also, we're gonna be emphasizing the fact that, oh yeah, I constantly remind myself about the reasons why I do exercise 3 times on a day. This is something that's really important for me because not only that I like have some solid reasoning why I do it, I also remind myself why I do it consistently 3 times in a day. So okay, now I'm gonna be explaining how to write the whiteboard and also how to stick consistently to the whiteboard and also how it's gonna be effective. So here's the thing. How do we actually write a whiteboard? Again, we can just like write it down or just like type it. Okay, each method's got its own pros and cons. When you just write things down, it got a different feeling, stronger feeling, okay? But the cons here is that, carrying a paper anywhere you go can be, like not really that flexible, right? But when you just type things digitally, you can bring it anywhere. But like the feeling compared to just like writing it down on a piece of paper is just going to be different. Okay, so you can just choose it. Okay, so again, the thing that we're going to be writing here is that firstly, why it's important, what are the reasons of us actually starting the exercise in the first place, and then secondly, we are going to be writing the manifestation. Okay, the manifestation of doing that thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the manifestation of the reasons being manifested in doing something. So basically it goes something like, yeah, doing exercise is important. Now what is the thing that I'm gonna be doing about it? Okay. Yeah, exercising is important because I want to be healthy. So, because I want to be healthy and exercising is important, I'm gonna be, spending at least 5 minutes every single day to do some running. Okay. Oh yeah, again, so since like the example that is being provided here is exercising example. This is only for educational purpose only and not medical advice. Okay, so if you wanted to start your own exercising routine, please, do your own research or maybe consult to some medical professional. So how do we stick to this reading this thing consistently 3 times in a day in a specific time? Okay, how do we actually stick to this thing? How to read this thing consistently? Okay, it's really simple actually. Just read it after every single time like before or after you have some breakfast or lunch or dinner. Okay, so 3 times a day. So let's say, like you read this whiteboard after you do the eating. Okay, so after breakfast, after lunch, and also after dinner. This is actually called stacking. Basically, just putting a new habit, the reading the whiteboard habit, before or after doing an existing habit. You know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so we basically, like it's easier to just stick to a new habit. Reading this whiteboard thing, when we just like place it before or after an already existing habit. So basically it's gonna like take less time, like mental energy to stick to that thing. Okay, because like we're gonna just think like instead of just thinking like, oh yeah, I need to read this thing 3 times in a day, at the morning and then also like the afternoon and then at the evening, you know, instead of that, we just kind of think of it more like, oh yeah, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, simple. So, so why it's effective, right? Why it's effective? Imagine, right? What's the thing that is going to happen? What's the likelihood that's going to happen when we just constantly remind us 3 times in a day about the importance of doing this one thing, this maybe exercising thing, studying thing, and so on and so on. So we're going to be reminded on a daily basis about the importance of doing this thing. Okay, the importance of, yeah, I want to be healthy. Yeah, I want to be healthy for my family and so on as well. And also, we're going to be more sure that, yeah, this is actually something that's important. I even like I emphasize it by spending my time 3 times in a day just to remind myself of how important this thing is. Okay, and not only that, when we remind ourselves, the probability of having some emotional response to actually doing that thing is going to be bigger. Okay, so when we remind ourselves of the reasons why we do it, especially like when the reasons are emotional, big chances we are going to be having some emotional response to it. Okay, and when we have some emotional response to it, it can trigger us to be motivated and actually do that thing at the end of the day. So even when we are constantly being thrown with all of this, like new priorities in our life, all of this business and stuff, hopefully we're still gonna be able to stick to this one particular thing that we wanted to be consistent at because we are being constantly reminded of why we do that thing in the first place. So that's how you actually be consistent at doing something positive. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so that this video is gonna reach more and more people. Also, you can join our Discord. So, like basically just a small server where you can just support each other being consistent at doing something. Bye bye.